Greetings, family. It's good to be with you again. This is part two. I attempted to make the video earlier. The Wi Fi wasn't working very well. Uh, what this video is about is the continuation from our conference call that we had last night at ktfalways.com. We ran out of time. Our conference calls are in depth. We were together with you from 5 to 7, we just entertain each other. And then from 7 until 10:30, um, we study this investment, don't we? The best that we can. I think that we gave a lot of good information yesterday. Opened up some files that were prudent with our study. In reflection to what they're saying right now. Because you see, the things that they're saying right now, we have been saying for a long time. I'm not here to be cocky. I'm not here to be arrogant. I'm here to give all honor and glory to God for the ability to be able to gather this information, study it with some very, very serious minds on this subject, and come to a conclusion of what we want to share with you in our opinion. And as we start, let it be known that everything that we say on this video is nothing more but our opinion, based on the articles. And it's a speculative investment. It's important that we mention that too. You see, in a speculative investment, there is no date of maturity. There is no rate to be given. There's nothing more but a guess. Right now, I believe that we are very fortunate not to be guessing any longer. You see, it is the IMF that's coming out and talking. They told you that they have used Article 8 tools. They told you that they have protected them under Article 8. You know what that means. Now, I'm not going to review all of that again. You go back and look at all the other videos, and you'll see the chronology of where we're at right now as of this last video. Now, as you know, the financial management law, for that matter, many laws have been passed. But it's important that you understand this. Look, Iraq's government on the shelf, they've never really had a government. They pass laws. That's what a parliament does. But they don't enact them because they don't have leaders that want to use those laws for, by, and of the people of Iraq. They stole everything from the people. And then other countries, especially Iran, raped that country. So, with what just happened?
They said it's upside down, so this way it isn't. I just have to hold it.
Okay, let me try to explain something. This morning I had oral surgery on my mouth. I am in, well, you don't want to hear my pain. But this eyeball, if it pops out on the table and rolls off across down all onto the floor, you know that it's because I'm in pain. Okay, let's get back to work. I don't even know what I was saying. The shots, I mean, they just, these things should not happen. Laws. Thank you, God. You see, Iraq has a lot of laws that have been passed but never been enacted. And the reason why is because the country does not have a leadership. They have a mafioso style of leadership with fear tactics. But that's over with. No more. And the FML law is being confused right now with another law that was passed today. Actually, it wasn't passed. It was passed a long time ago. It was just enacted today. It's called the Federal Management Law. But I'm not here to talk about those things. You know why? I'm here to talk to you about Walking Stick and his report. And his report says to me, don't worry about these laws, Frank. These laws are not necessary for what you and I are studying, the reinstatement of the Iraqi dinar. These laws are important for the inner structure of Iraq in order to run their country more than anything else. There are some laws that are good, and we'll talk about them for our investment, like the insurance law. The what? Yeah, it was passed years ago. It was left alone, but they've just recently brought it back out, amended it, put it back up. It's the equivalent of like our FDIC. Now, why would they want that now on a program rate currency? Ain't nothing to insure, huh? Ah, but of course, they're preparing, aren't they, for what they have been telling everybody. Now, yesterday in our conference call, we kept telling you that there's this pattern we have picked up, and I named 5 different locations. Well, another one came from one of our fireflies, and I read you the long report, and it was at the banquet of the Basel II meeting banquet that they had. And the CBI was there. Of course they're there. They're the ones that got it all passed. And they, after the banquet, they asked them, do you guys mind if we ask you a few questions? No. They were very polite and cordial. Of course they are. They've been going to bank meetings, you know, the private banks with the CBI. Hey, private banks, this is how you treat your customers. And one of the things that they told them is the same thing that was heard at this banquet. Go ahead and do that, Jen. Tell me when you're ready. And one of the things that was, this one was very interesting, this banquet. Because when they asked them, when are you going to get your international department, you know, the international exchange department, they said. The panel, the CBI board of directors members, they all said, very soon, very soon. Good. A follow-up question, please. Do you mind? Yes, go right ahead. What's your next question? And the next question was, well, you know, you all been saying that you're going to add, you know, increase the dinar value. You know, when is this going to happen? And the answer was, exactly that. You could have dropped a feather and you would have heard it miles away. All those CBI members, they just stared at the person that asked the question and smiled. They didn't even try to stop the question, you know, it's like, okay, next question. Yeah, very soon is a common theme that we're seeing everywhere. And these laws, don't worry about them. I'll point out a few, like I just did. The insurance law that most of nobody that I can see is talking about it. Anyways, I'm looking at my notes here. Sometime about a week ago, a little more than a week ago, we told you that the SBA was canceled. And you know that the SBA was, well, it turns out that they did not renew that. And they enacted something called the Post-Monetary Program, which is taken off the training wheels and telling the CBI, you're on your own now. Add value, go into the international theater, trade with your currency, add value, stability, confidence to your currency by doing so, and welcome aboard because you guys are all international standards. Okay, the theme is very soon. On what? International standards. Because ever since the IMF came out and embarrassed you and said that you are Article 8, you've been telling us literally daily, daily since then, the definition of Article 8. Yes, we have. Well, good for you, CBI. Good for you. So the post-monetary program has now been enacted by the IMF with you guys, huh? Yes, it has. That means that you guys can do whatever you want now. You're going from a transition from Article 14 to Article 8? Yes, we have. Excuse me? Yes, we are. Okay. Let us know when you're done, okay? Yes, we will. And I believe that that's what they're doing. I really believe that they're putting themselves in a position to make an announcement to the world that, hey, look, all the recommendations that the IMF, we call it the Fab Four. Who's the Fab Four? Let's see here. IMF, United States Treasury, World Bank, and President Trump. There you go. World Bank. Oh my goodness. Did you see the article today about the World Bank and Iraq? Because you've seen every article about the IMF in Iraq. And you know very well what Donald Trump is doing in the Middle East with the Middle Eastern basket, don't you? Fascinating. Fascinating that the things that we have said in the past, like for example, electronic billboards. They're all over the streets, aren't they, in Iraq? They got the ATM machines. And all the Iraqi citizens are looking and saying, look, that's what they promised us. And the conversation everywhere in Iraq, in the streets, my friends that have their shops in the green zone, in Baghdad, they're all asking the same question. They're all talking about it. They're about to add value to our currency. I know. When we send our fireflies into the bank, what does the bank in Iraq tell them? Hey, you told me to come in and find out about the ATM machine. What's up? What about it? Well, remember we told you that it was going to dispense this new currency, have modern technology, la 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 la. Yeah. Well, when? Very soon. Okay. By the way, before you leave, would you like to open an account? No. Now, it's important that they do, even though they're being stubborn and they're holding on to their 3 zeros. They don't trust Iraqi banks. They don't trust the CBI. They don't trust their government. You can't blame them. So the concept is get into the banks. Open up your banking account. Okay? Please, pretty please. And here's your key card. Well, actually, the key card is being removed. Here's a MasterCard and Visa card. You see, when you go to the ATM machines, it says MasterCard and Visa logo. Yeah, here's your new card, Iraqi citizen. Oh, by the way, Iraqi citizen, if you live somewhere in, I don't know, Istanbul, if you live somewhere in Alaska, wherever you may live, Iraqi citizen, here's your international card where you can get your retiree money. The key card is being replaced with an international standard card that will be used with the ATM machines that they're seeing in the billboards, the electronic billboards that they have been told about in seminars, meetings, college, campus gatherings, in flyers. Does all of this sound familiar? Electronic billboards, the information, education to the citizens. You see, they got so saturated with the knowledge, the education from the CBI, that we are going through a monetary change, by the way. This is what's going to be happening, that they are now at the point where they're saying, where is it? Where? Now, the thing is, Walking Stick and I would like to tell you that they are asking these same questions that you are asking, when? What you promised to add value to your currency. When? But realize that the citizens of Iraq are asking because they are entitled to this increase of purchasing power. It was promised to them, not to us. It was promised to them. And the education from the CBI is paying off today. The CBI is doing a lot of telecoms. I'm sorry, are those glasses in that case?
No.
Glasses. There's something like that. Forgive me. Hold on, please. It's been a bad day on my eyeball. Hold on. The CBI, again, this whole call is, in my opinion, on the study of the Iraqi dinar. And right now, in my opinion, the CBI is doing a lot of telecoms. You see, there's meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, which is causing and stimulating questions to make sure that there's no problems. They do telecoms. They set them up. Boom, boom, boom. There's no, it's not like they schedule a meeting and no. They're doing many telecom transmissions with many private banks to do what they're doing. This last week was a very busy week with multiple meetings, one after the other, with the CBI and with many respected parties dealing with Iraq's economy and their monetary reform. If you look at the articles that we're putting out on our forum, look at these people, look at these agencies and these companies that are coming in. Yes, the economic funding is a topic, but to be honest with you, the number one topic in Iraq right now is not so much the economic funding or the economic reform. It is the monetary reform that was promised and is being shown to them. The CBI, in our opinion, has the citizens online with the soon-to-come announcement from the CBI. They have that they have raised the value of the currency. It will come through a press conference. It will be telecast worldwide. It will be big news. These ATM machines that are being plastered on the electronic billboards down the streets of Iraq, as we told you, look at your notes. And I had somebody say, Frank, nobody has your notes. Too bad. Those notes will tell you exactly what these ATM machines are going to dispense: money, gold, promotion of MasterCard and Visa, all international, all of it with the software of the new small category notes. It will not dispense gold right away, but it will dispense the coins. These are the most state-of-the-art ATM machines. Not even the United States of America has these type of ATM machines in their home. The citizens will even be able to pay their bills, their personal bills, through these ATM machines. They are moving away from the key card. The key card was for a program rate, not for international standards. There is a grand opening, a promotion. But why would they say that it's a reopening? Because with Basel II, and with the international standard procedures that the private banks in Iraq are now following, these are new banking procedures. They are reopening under that title. They have these new procedures they're telling the citizens online, and it is the reason for the statement, reopening. It's not confusing. It is logical what the article said. Because these banks in Iraq are now under international standard and linked with the private banks around the world that mirror image these international standards of the CBI and her banks. Walking Stick said that, if you recall, we paid the citizens electronically 1-to-1 only with the Iraqi dinar to lift 3 zeros last June, July, and August. That's why we need the citizens to open these accounts. Citizens of Iraq, don't you want to get paid? Don't you want to get paid? In your name? Remember what many of your companies inside of your country did when they paid you electronically during that summer with your key cards. You have to open these bank accounts in order to get paid electronically with the new cards. That's why it's a heavy promotion. That's why it's all over the television and begging you to come in and open your bank accounts. They are trying, Walking Stick says, to draw in as many customers. This will help in the controlling of the release of the new small category notes. They will know exactly how much money will go into the marketplace for their M figures. The physical currency versus the electronic dinar is being managed. The controlling the amount of money of the new currency that they put in circulation is a mandate of the IMF. They're ready to do it, in my opinion. We just need the citizens to come in and do their part now. Complete the full spectrum, citizens. Come in and open an account with the banks. A question was posed on my form. How much training do they need? I mean, seriously, how much training do they need? And I'm talking about the citizens, and I'm talking about the private banks in Iraq. I'm talking about the tellers. I'm talking about government officials. I'm talking about CBI people. They're being trained by the Fab Four. I know. But really, how much training do they need? Well, look, Walking Stick keeps reiterating this. The training for the monetary reform, for the reinstatement of their currency, for the monetary reform, the redenomination, for the new numbers, for the lifting of the 3 zeros, all of this will go on forever. Most of the population in Iraq did not even exist and those that did exist at that time unfortunately, the accounts that they had in banks in Iraq, their money was robbed. And there was no explanation. Mom and Pop and Grandma and Grandpa and the young kid with his little savings account, they had their money in Iraqi banks. And Maliki and his leadership stole wherever they could find money. They stole it. They raped the country. The citizens of Iraq were robbed by their government. Hence, no trust for the CBI, no trust, no faith, no way. And that's why they still, right now, to this day, say no. But the education is bringing them. And when they come, they say to them, okay, now that you're here, want to open up you want to open up a chicken account and get your card? You're going to need it very soon. Very soon. No. Not until you keep your promise that you made to us. Add value to our currency. Very soon. Wait a minute. What? You see the chronology of the conversations? Before, it was, come in, I'd like to know, tell me more. Is it true? I hear in the streets that our currency is going to go up in value. No, we don't know anything about that. Then the classes occur from last year into this year. Aliyah Beef, I come, I like to know, what's this advertising? What's this television? What's going on? Huh? You say, add value to purchasing power? Really? CBI? For me? When? Very soon. I'll be back. You want to open up an account before you leave? No. No, you promise? You show me? I'll open up an account. You can't blame these people. So the government, which is, being watched, and the CBI, which is being watched, we ain't going nowhere. Yeah, the SBA is over. But what law did I tell you we take over now with, huh? Look at your notes about 30 minutes ago. And here's another one. These are the ones that are important. The account protection law. The what? The who? The account protection law. I'm not sure you know it, forward and backwards, right? It's like our FDIC. All of a sudden, it came off the shelves. They've had that law forever. It came off the shelves, amended, approved, and passed. And now, my goodness, it was recently passed, says Walking Stick. And this is the type of law that is needed for the trust of the citizens to bring in their 3 zeros and open accounts. This is the education to the citizens, huh? Yeah. How come we don't know about these laws, Walking Stick? I don't know. They didn't print them, I guess. Thanks for telling me. Frank, he says, banks in Iraq are now telling citizens all funds and deposits are protected. They are, sir? Wait a minute. So part of this education, when they go there and they say, where's my added value? And they say, not yet, very soon. They're also educating them with more? Oh, yeah, Frank. They can sit there and they can listen to recordings. They can go in and talk with them, and managers in the back. They got dedicated windows. I told you that the education process was going to be a long one, and it would continue forever. And yes, the banks in Iraq are telling the citizens that their funds and deposits are now protected. Wow. With the account protection law? Yeah. Wow. Well, I like that. How come I didn't know about that? And Walking Stick says to me, he says, look, this, like I told you, it's a heavy promotion directed strictly to the citizens of Iraq. The promotion is all power. I know. Did you see those ATM machines? Yeah, I saw them. They're pretty cool, huh? Yeah. Those are the ATM machines that are all over our country. Remember the numbers that we gave you, how many they reported that there were? Yeah. They have thousands, no longer ATMs. They have thousands of foreign investors. Big deal. But the success of the economic and monetary reform solely lies in the Iraqi citizens themselves. Look, if it doesn't work internally, externally, ain't nobody coming in. But funny enough, have you noticed that the Kuwait contracts are pouring in now? What are they doing that they haven't told us? A lot. Yeah, Kuwait and Saudi Arabia, contracts now today, Trade Bank in Kuwait. Wait a minute. Excuse me, Walking Stick. Say that again. Trade Bank is opening a beautiful big branch in Kuwait. Wait a minute. Well, that would be a CBI Bank International in another country. Yes. When? Very soon. How are they getting this information out? And and it's slipping through my fingers. How are they doing this? Social media is the number one. We got it. You told Manny, you told Delta to check it out. He's been watching, and we're showing it to the family. Good. You see all those people that are talking, not just the citizens. Yes, the professors, the economists. All yeah. Yeah, that was organized. How else are they telling them? Television, newspapers. How else? Flyers, leaflets. How else? Giving away telephones. What do you mean? They text message them throughout the day. I wonder if that was Trump's idea. How else? The electronic billboards. How else? Inside of the banks. Not only the electronic billboards outside, but didn't I tell you, Frank, that there would be billboards inside of the banks? Yes, sir. Well, there are. What else? A lot of things. I think the most important thing, Frank Walking Stick says, is the TIMF. The what? The TIMF? What's that? I don't know. What's TIMF, Walking Stick? The Trump International Monetary Fund. Bravo, sir. Bravo, sir. Now, I can feed off of that, but why don't you go ahead? Talk to me. What's in your heart? Frank, Trump is using Iraq to our advantage. Yeah, I know. He's using Iraq to our advantage to pay for the war. We wouldn't spend one dime on this war. No, shut up. We wouldn't spend one dime on this. Trump is using Iraq to our advantage, sir, to pay for the war? Yes, Frank. And the funding of the war? Yes. That's fascinating. It is the way it has to be, Frank. And it will be that way, one way or another. Iraq will reinstate its currency. Iraq will pay its bill. Iraq has been told by the IMF, Donald Trump, start paying the IMF. Iraq was told pay the Paris debt. Iraq was told pay Saudi Arabia. Iraq was told pay Kurdistan. Iraq, my gosh, they're paying everybody. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that the citizens are next, which in turn would equal that the international world would be next to be paid. What do you mean paid? Well, I bought a stock called the Iraqi dinar in a company called Iraq, and I'm looking for a dividend called an RI. That's really interesting, Walking Stick. So the dinars that the United States has in their reserves, whatever amount it is, would go up in value, and there would be enough to pay for the war, let alone anything else that we needed, right? Right. Well, been there, done that. We've done this before, right? Right. Successfully, right? Right. We're probably going to do it again, huh? Preparing. Oh, thank you, sir. Frank, yes, sir. Iraq owes us money. That is so true. Lift the 3 zeros so that you can pay everyone. Oh my gosh, you're paying everyone. You lifted them electronically in January. Now tell everybody that you did it, okay? Admit it, you're Article 8. You know, so that I can get paid too, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a twofold process that's being instilled right now by the powers to be. There is no delays. This is working beautifully, in my opinion. Twofolds. Number one, it instills confidence to the citizens, confidence in faith, by holding the corrupt accountable. Frank, why don't we just arrest Malachi? And what would I do? I would ignore the question. And I would be criticized and stones would be thrown at me, wouldn't it? The only answer I gave you is you just don't understand military tactics. You keep your enemy as close as possible to you in order to gather intel. Look at your notes. That's the only thing I ever said over and over again hundreds of times. What the powers that be are doing with the citizens right now is that they're instilling confidence with all these laws, with all this protection that they have, that they're seeing inside of their government and inside of their banks, and they are now holding the corrupt accountable. The President of the United States of America is about to release a lot of information, if needed, individual sanctions, if needed. Just ask Iran. So the confidence, the faith from the citizens back to their government, back to their central banks or central bank. That's wonderful. What's the second part that is being done right now? Well, by doing this, the second part evolves. And what is happening is that it is helping Donald Trump. It is helping the United States. How? By controlling their banks, they are recouping billions of dollars that were stolen by Maliki and the Daw Party and Iran. President Trump was watching Maliki for a long time. How long? 2 years. Why weren't we watching him for 3 or 4 years? It wasn't the plan of the administration at that time. Thanks, Donald Trump. Because he's been watching the Maliki and his Daw Party for the last the last 2 years. He's been watching them for a long time to gather this criminal intel against him. So, why not arrest Maliki and get this over with and do the RI? Because it would have just caused a civil war, says Walking Stick, inside of the country of Iraq. Instead, you keep your enemies at your feet at bay. And that's what they did. That's what they did. Mission accomplished. You see, to arrest Maliki will not hurt him. But to put personal sanctions on him and his supporters, that's the key. And that's what they did. And that's why we're here where we're at now. He is an innate drone. He is neutered. He is useless. He's a ghost with no soul. When you keep asking me, why didn't we just arrest Maliki? What did I do? I just simply ignored you by saying he is being watched. Now you know who was watching him and why he was not arrested the way you demanded it. His stupid habitual habits, his stupid habitual patterns were studied. It's what trapped him. You get cocky. You don't do the same thing every day. Hence why you now see less and less of the American dollar being abused by other Middle Eastern countries because he's not helping them do it anymore. Are you, Maliki? President Trump has cleaned the American dollar. Yesterday he told China, up yours. You're a currency manipulator. No, we're not. Yes, you are. No, we're not. You want sanctions? No. What are you? Currency manipulator. Say it louder. And prove it. Admit it. Watch them admit it soon. He's fixing the Middle East, President Trump. Meanwhile, China, you're next. Yeah, Donald Trump walked away from China, didn't he, Walking Stick? Yes, he did. He had a big deal with China and using Iraq. But they refuse. And Donald Trump says to them, this deal that we're going to make, okay, this deal we're going to make China, it has to, it shall, it only will be advantageous to the United States of America. Because you, China, have taken advantage of the United States trade and our currency for decades. And I'm sorry. That ends with my administration. And if you don't like it, China, number one, we will slap more sanctions and tariffs on you. Number two, we'll make it official. And they did. Stamped at the United States Treasury. China is manipulates their exchange rate and their currency. Bunch of punks. Well, watch the punks come to a table. Now, I'm not talking about Chinese people. Oh my gosh, I love Chinese people. I love the Asian world. Look, 40 pounds I lost because I ate like you ate. Healthy. Chinese are beautiful people. How do you feel about your government, Chinese people? China, government, complain all you want. But in the end, with Donald Trump, you pretty much don't have any other choice. Just like your people against you. China government. So what is the conclusion? Well, there's nothing stopping the plan of Mahdi, of Dr. Shabibi, of the board of the directors of the CBI, nothing stopping the plan of Donald Trump in the last 2 years. God, can you imagine if we had him? I wouldn't be 105 years old today still waiting for this to happen. Look, a lot of you have asked the question, you said that at the end of the year, at the start of a year, or in the middle of the year, that's the best time for an RI? Yeah, for accounting purposes. Come on, be logical. For accounting purposes. And in this case, I know we're in August, and then in this case, the testing, the trying, and the applying of the accounts for the reinstatement has all been done. It's all been completed. It's all successful. Check this out. At multiple exchange rates, says Walking Stick. What? Okay, I'll say it one more time. The testing, the trying, the applying of the accounts for the reinstatement of the Iraqi dinar has all been done. And of course, you know what Walking Stick did with this firm. Has all been done, completed, successful. Now, I told you it was at 1-to-1 with the American dollar. But remember, look at your notes. At multiple exchange rates. Recalculate. Remember that, Siri? Look at your notes. Which one will they use? Which rate did they pick? Well, Let the soon to come press conference of the CBI tell you instead, not me, because I don't know. I just okay. So what I want to do right now is speed this up. In fact, look, 2 more files, okay? 2 more files loaded with what's going on. Here's what I'm going to do instead. I'm going to come over here to our Firefly 77. What I want to do is I want to read you a chronology and the latest report that we got from him. Now, this may take a bit, but this will be the end of our call. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way back, literally to the very beginning, so that you can understand and see the flow of the education to the citizens and what's going on. And here we go. I'm going to read it as fast as I can. May take about 5-6 minutes. But again, I think it'll be very helpful for all of us. And here we go. Frank, and this goes back about 2 weeks ago, all the way up to 5 o'clock this afternoon. Go ahead, Tim. Go ahead. We're running long on this recording, so we're adding some power to the phone. Here we go. 2 weeks ago, Firefly 77 started to communicate with us. After we vetted him, here we go. Oh, this is July the 22nd is when we... Really? I thought it was earlier than that. Sir, on Iraqi news, Iraqi Stock Exchange signed a 5-year deal with NASDAQ announcing new CBI government in October, new budget in October that will bring a boom to the economy of Iraq. Everything about Iraq Stock Exchange that you talked about last week on your program was aired on our news the following day. At work could not call. Okay, all righty. 2 days later, Frank, I just heard from 77. He wants to give you an update because of your conference call over in Iraq. No changes in the market prices yet. So I asked him all your questions about what he would be seeing on the news. And today he reported saying that the television has the names of 6 special grades that were presented to Parliament for vote, including the name of the CBI governor, Alawi. He said today is last session before break, and Fireflies enjoyed your call. Okay, he will contact me, etc., etc., etc. I said ask him these questions the next day, Friday. Sir, 77 actually called me after seeing your latest video, saying again that you are on top of it. He said about 3 weeks ago, just as you stated in the video, there was a lot of news one day about Alawi being the new CBI governor, and it surprised us all. It was all over the news, and they talked about it, so we talked about it. We talked about him all day, and then it went silent yesterday when they mentioned his name again about a vote in Parliament. 77 heard Alawi names. He's been hearing it for 3 weeks. He heard it 3 weeks ago, but he says you explained it to the T on your conference call. And he's happy he understands it now. The Friday, Saturday, 3 days later, Monday, 29th, Frank just talked to 77. He says, hey, Mr. Frank, and they are really watching closely what you are asking them to do. And notice today on television, the National Bank of Iraq was doing their info commercials, telling everyone the importance of the local ATM machines, telling all these are state of the art with modern technology, and one can do so much more than just withdraw money from.
77 said they have talked about ATMs before on news, but today they go where they go. Well, this is chopped up. They were giving more options of the ATM machines and even said the ratio of ATMs in country. It stated back in 2017 there was 611 ATMs. Now there are thousands of them all over our country. He said that the news also said including 356 ATM machines just alone in the Baghdad area. 77 also says that a lot of corruption news is being told to the citizens for the first time and showing lists of names of corrupt officials. We know who they are. Many were previous ministers, he said. 77 will be calling back later. Okay. Monday, July 29th. That was, okay, Monday, July 29th. I left a message. I've not heard from him. I asked him your questions. Okay, Tuesday, the 30th. Sir, just heard from him. He said to your questions, the information about the commercials is still running today on television about the ATMs. No timetable was given, just information. So I can't answer your question yet. They say very soon. And options. So he went to the National Bank of Iraq, just as you suggested there. All he was told by the person behind the bank is in coming days. More and more will be revealed about modern technology, and they asked him if he had accounts there and tried to get him to open up an account while he was asking questions. Yeah, 77 said that he sees the ATMs all over the place as he sees more and more about this on the news and TV. He will call next. Okay, Thursday. This is the same day. Later that day. Is it the same day? Tuesday. No, this is Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So 2 days later. Sir, I asked 77 about the key cards versus the MasterCards and Visas, and he said they did have the new ones. The new ones about they did have on the new, pardon me. He said that they did have on the news, the television, about that card, showed the meeting where banks were talking, saying these would help grow the economy and was needed to produce stability. He said the news kind of tied the cards in with the news about the ATMs that they have been telling us. No timetable again was given about when these cards would hit the streets, but talked about how this would help Iraqi economy and would be used anywhere in the world. Then they went back to talking about the ATM machines. Hold on. Ask him this, ask him, and okay, sir, I will say true. Okay. Thursday, late at night, that same day. Sir, he called back and he went to the bank and the teller had no information and the branch manager was in a training meeting and unavailable. They again tried to get 77 to open a bank account there, and 77 said no. When he left on his way home, most of the new digital billboards had the ATM machines on them with messages about the upcoming new modern technology and advantages of using the new system. 77 also wants to ask you the news all day is about, he wants to tell you the news all day is about members calling for government to support the private banks. 77 says all afternoon they're talking about the private banks and how important this is and is needed to be done as soon as possible. Okay, now what we did is we wanted to know about this. Here, I'll show you very quickly this picture. If you look very carefully, you can see the key cards, and on the other side are the lower denoms. Remember when we told you that they told the citizens in the article that we read to you, citizens, come in and replace your worn and torn. bring us your 250s and your 500s. And the reason why I told you, in my opinion, is because they know they're going to keep the 3 zeros. But the 250 and the 500s is what the markets, my friends, are using to give change back. And they're losing money like crazy. They need the new math, the new small category notes. They need the coins. Anyways, so what this picture really truly was when they told them, come in, we'll get you the card and we'll give you the 250, we'll replace the worn and torn. So it wasn't what we thought it was. 77 is asking about the private banks, Frank. How can he find out more for you on this? It's all over the news today about private sector. I tried to explain to him what it means, but he is still confused. Afterwards, he felt better. I just sent 77 this picture, and I asked him to find out if these were the new international cards in the new small category notes. He'll get back with me. Sir. 77 just called in. He said today on the news, and by the way, this is Friday, which was what? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, about 4 days ago. Sir, just heard from 77. He said today on the news, on the financial section, they're showing the banking sector celebrating that they are now Basel II. And we told you with Doodlebug's report that at that banquet, that's when the CBI was there. And they were all like, oh, no problem. We'll answer some questions. What you want? What you got? What's the question? Your international department at the CBI went, very soon. Okay. Any more questions? Yeah, you purchasing power to our currency. When? Next question, please. And that's exactly how it went. So continue. He said that the news is financial sector. They're showing the banking sector. They are now showing about Basel II compliance, saying that the bank representatives from all over Iraq attended the workshop, showed this for the entire financial news, the whole hour on the whole financial news section on the news. They talked about it. Also talked about the way money to be spent on reconstruction projects, especially for Mosul. 77 didn't see any info commercials today about ATMs. However, the new electronic billboards still are showing the ATMs and information. 77 told me that the picture I sent looks more like it might be replacing the old worn and torn, not so much the new ones. Those are the old cards today. Is their holy day. Expect news to be very slow. Let me just rush this. The whole family, this I like because I know that they're listening. 77 says that his entire family gathers around to watch you. They are so amazed at the things that you continue to be spot on, you and your teams at KTF always. Him and his family actually see and hear the things that you say the following day. Saturday is a huge day for his market sales. So hopefully we will have more information. All right, then Saturday comes, and here we go. Saturday he didn't communicate. Sunday morning. Good morning, sir. 77 calls out the following. He called at 6 a.m. this morning, my time. And he says Saturday was a very busy day at his market. And the buzz on the streets and the whole market is all about adding value to their currency. It's all over the people. It's all over. It's all over. People are talking, asking talking about the TV commercials and the billboards. The national bank that ran the info commercial yesterday had a grand reopening. We talked about that, and you know why they called it the reopening. It's new stuff. The grand reopening. Sir, 77 says we're giving away pins and T-shirts. And you could open up accounts there with special perks. Mr. Frank, this bank's been here a long time. Why the reopening there has been, why they are reopening when there has been no remodeling, nothing new, I don't understand, 77 said. Again, Frank, I explained it to him. He said that him and his father went and asked again about what's going on with the cards and why doing grand reopening today. The bank again wanted them to reopen. That's the reason. Just get in here, open accounts, they told him. Just like you have been saying, Mr. Frank, the banks say coming days, the modern technology of the ATMs and the new systems will be available for all citizens. Please come and let us get you a new account. Please come in, but they offer no George Foreman drills today, like you said, Mr. Frank. 77 says that the banks were extremely nice to not only him, but everyone who came in for gifts and refreshments. The billboard still, of course, the meetings that the CBI are having with the private banks are teaching them. You don't act like Wells Fargo, but you don't tell them until we do. Okay. They are offering us gifts and refreshments, and the billboards still, as of Saturday, are blasting that the ATM information, but not on TV any longer. They're still talking about where money for reconstruction to be spent, showing a lot of pictures of Musola and the devastation still there. Corruption also still on TV. Even have Maliki on there about corruption in defense contracts. And the streets are abuse. The streets are abuzz with talk, and we thank you, Mr. Frank. We watch every word, listen to every word of your video, and we're using it to help you and your KTFA family. And today, finally, the end here. Good morning, sir. I just heard from 77. He said today at bank he was given a new bank card machine. A new bank card machine. He means the MasterCard Visa. No kid. He got in. I haven't read this, by the way. He's been given a new bank card machine for his business. He only has to pay a fee for each transaction, but was told these new card machines are part of the new modern technology. Oh, these are merchant cards. These are merchant cards. You see, I have a business, I have a merchant card, and I use that card to do my banking business between me and the bank. They give me change, they give me checks, they give me MasterCard slips, whatever I need. Because he has his market or his business in the market, they gave him the cards to. They didn't ask them to do. They gave them something. Mark, that is a new pattern. They gave them some. They're going to start getting. Okay, this is all in my opinion. I have to analyze this. Let me be silent and read it and say goodbye to you. As part of their giving us these cards, they're telling us that it's part of the new modern technology that we have told you about and advertising, that these will accept all of our cards and debit cards and credit cards. And this has the capacity to be linked worldwide, he said. He said, tell Mr. Frank, we like that worldwide wordage. Look, here, let me block the name. Is there anybody you can see that? Say, can see that?
Yep.
I don't want you to think I'm making these things up. Frank, we like the worldwide wordage. Me too. Me too, family. In Iraq. The banks explained the machine to us and said they are giving these out to merchants. I told you! To merchants if they want. Yeah, they want. And it opens up an account. Oh my God. Still market. It is a pattern. They gave them something. If they want, okay, yes, sir, they're giving out these to merchants if they want, shove it to me if they want. You want one? He wants one. Hurry. There you go, sir. Your account will be open now with that card. That's how you're going to use it. Got it. If they want one and then must pay fees associated, well, there's a fee everywhere. That's how banks make their money, and pay a fee associated with each transaction. Yeah, each deposit, whatever. Each transaction, the banker then told us he knows that we going ask about the new cards. He knows us by name now, but again said coming days. And on our news today, sir, we heard in coming days the reconstruction project. There it is. There's the pattern even going into the economic reform. Coming days, the reconstruction projects will begin. Really? With the funds from the Kuwait conference. But the Kuwait conference funds need to be protected under Article 8, so you need to make the announcement in the coming days, and then those funds will begin to come in. We are seeing ATMs on billboards still, but no TV commercials anymore about them. We have, because you see, the commercials cost money. The billboards, got them. Keep looking. We have told our cousin in nearby city about your calls on your KTFA, and they watched you Monday's videos. My cousins were surprised. They said, but so happy because they too hearing on streets same things in their city. We are in the green zone. As always, tell Mr. Frank thank you for all that you do. We will give you updates later today on the bank. So we're offering seminar. Tell Mr. Frank that later on the banks will be offering seminars for the merchants on the modern technology, of course, available to us, and we can see and learn what's coming to help our business. This will one of many of the banks says would be this Saturday. Oh, so Saturday is when they're going to hand it out. Firefly77 says all banks will be doing seminars for merchants, and dates for later sessions will be announced, but this will be the first one this coming Saturday. Holy cow, another one came in just as I was talking to you. Hold on, real quick, because this is the end of our recording. Sir, Firefly77 called again, said he only had a couple things new on news since early. He said they are showing the private bank held workshop yesterday and talking about a lot and talking about that a lot. And also all new Iraqi passports will be electronic with a new logo. Also, the parliament will meet for start of second legislation term on the 3rd of September, but nothing else on the news today about the bank or ATMs. We are planning on attending the seminar this Saturday and we will give you, And I said, okay, thanks, Brother Frank, we'll tell you. Okay. Tomorrow, we'll do another video, okay? I mean, we do one every day on this subject. But tomorrow, we will continue with these two files and share more. Again, this is a speculative investment. Nobody knows the date. Nobody knows the rate. But we do know what they're telling us, don't we? I'll see you in the coming days, okay? Aloha. Ahuyo.